Hey, what's up guys, my name is Kai. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys 3 really easy steps on how to create this light streak transition that I made for a commercial I shot recently. Check it out. You know, when I put this out on the internet, I really hope that I could be those people saying that, oh, you know, millions of people emailed me asking me how I did this transition. And so today I'm forced to make this tutorial for you guys. But the reality is no, nobody asked. But anyways, let's get into the tutorial. Now, the first step that you have to do is to shoot your footage, obviously. Now we're going to check out the footage that I shot, the original footage of the light streak video in DaVinci Resolve. So let's check it out. Here we are in DaVinci Resolve. Now, as you can see, it's an actual footage, obviously, and it's a normal footage. I shot it in 24 FPS and I was using a very tight lens. I believe I was using a 70 to 200 millimeter and I was zooming all the way. So it was 200 millimeter. The reason why I was using a 200 millimeter is when you're using a very tight lens, it's easier to get that motion blur. So right now, let's take a look at the result. I mean, the original footage. I was like basically whipping the camera as fast as I could with the 200 millimeter. Like I said earlier, if you're using a very tight lens, it's just so easy to get that motion blur compared to if you were to use a 12 millimeter, let's say. It's just so hard to get that motion blur since it's just so wide, you just see everything, you know? I mean, just try your best. Even if you don't have a 200 millimeter, just maybe get like a 70 or 80. And we're gonna be able to fix that later on in post-production. So just try your best. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, the most important thing is to shoot it at night. Otherwise you wouldn't get all of these light, right? If you're shooting during the day, you could possibly get a different type of texture if you were to shoot during the daytime. But I feel like at night you get these billboard, these signs, you know, stoplight, all of that. There's much more colors going on if you shoot it during the night. You just need to find 2 seconds of this camera movement that you're really happy with. So this is the one that I'm okay with it. This one. Okay, now step number 2. What you want to do is you're gonna color grade it. And this is actually really fun since there's nothing really much in detail. You basically can color grade it however you want. As long as you're happy with the color, it's okay. You don't need to worry about the skin tone, the shadow, highlight. Basically just have fun. So I'm going to add a lot of contrast. I still want some detail, so the texture is going to look better. So I'm not going to have the highlight fully blown out. And also, this is one of the only time when you don't need to worry about the saturation. Just let the saturation blow up. Actually, the more color you get, the better it looks. So just, you know, boost the saturation up to 100. Don't worry about it. Now, if you put the saturation to 100 and you still don't feel it's enough, you can go to color boost and, you know, boost it a little bit more. Now, here's the fun part. For the transition that I did, I think I used the same footage like 2 or 3 times maybe. And the reason why it looked different is I play with the hue. So since there's not much detail going on, you can just play with the hue however you want. It's not going to destroy the subject because you don't see anything anyways. You can go to hue, either here or here, and just you can change the color. You know, you can change it to however you want, and it doesn't really matter because it's just like 2 seconds and just so blurry. No one's gonna notice it. Now, the last step that you want to do is to add motion blur. Yes, just because it's already blurry doesn't mean that you cannot add more motion blur. I'm gonna go for directional blur. Just gonna put it right on it. The thing with it is that you gotta find the right direction. Otherwise, imagine the blur is like this, but then your footage is like this. So it doesn't make any sense. If you cannot find it easily, just put the blur strength to maximum. And then so you can find where is it going towards. Once you find the right direction, it's actually gonna look really nice. Because since it's fully blurred, you don't even get like any noise or anything. I'm not gonna put it to 100 because that's just too much to me. Like I still wanna see like a pattern, like a texture, right? You can still see the sign, you know, these billboard, these letters and stuff. It still does have some characters in it, which makes it look better. Because if it's like fully blurred out, then it almost looked like you created it from After Effects. Then there's no purpose of shooting the actual footage. So I would recommend you to keep some details in it so it looks more organic. So it basically looked like something like this. So yeah, that's basically it. This is the transition that you created it. But now you might wonder how to actually use it for your video. So here's a quick tip on how I did it. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to do it. So I personally found 2 ways to deal with this transition. One is to put the whip in between 2 images, obviously, and you use this composite mode called screen. So what it does is it kind of just remove the darker side of the footage. It actually looked pretty good. It looked pretty organic. I'm going to show you frame by frame how it looked like when you use composite mode screen. right? So basically the darker part of the light streak footage is transparent. So you get this very nice overlay on your footage. The only downside of this is when your footage is changing from one to another, you can see the cut, which I don't really like. But I mean, people don't really notice it anyways, but the other way to deal with it is to not have any composite mode and you just do a fade in and fade out. It might sound a bit stupid, but it doesn't look as bad as you think it is. Now we're gonna look at it frame by frame to compare it with the screen composite mode. So, see, you still see this transparency, the overlay, because there's fade in, right? Obviously, but literally at the cut where the footage is changing from one to another, you don't see anything. You don't see the cut. So yeah, that's about it with the video. Let me know if you have any questions. You can comment down below and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.